guys, welcome back. I'm on my break at my last teacher in service. So today I wanted to talk to you about the fact that teachers really do get jitters the first day of school, and especially at open house. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about teacher jitters. So if you're interested in that type of content, please stay tuned. Before I get started talking too much, I just wanted you guys to know, like I said, I'm at a district training and we're actually at a college, a local community college. So I'm right here standing on the beautiful campus of Suella Tech, and there's a lot of traffic and noise of bus and everything coming by. So if you hear any of that, just bear with me. I am just trying to get the content out, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, so open house. For us, open house is the Monday before school start, and then Tuesday is the first day of school. And I think that we're going to really have a big transition when it comes to if we're going to have jitters or not, because our parents, when they come in, that's our first impression. The first day of school, typically when I was small, my mom would come to the first day of school. She really wasn't an open house type person. I don't even know if we had that back when I was in school. But a lot of parents do stop off at open house, drop off materials and stuff like that. We didn't do that when I was growing up, so it's really new as a newer teacher to kind of have an open house prior to the first day of school. So with that being said, that day when the parents are coming in and you have the open house and you're just opening up your classroom to parents and students, you want to make sure that you have everything kind of almost together, even though you know those nitpicky things that you still have to get together. You want to seem like you're well organized. You want it to seem like it's going to be a place where there's a lot of learning happening. So having up your pictures and charts and stuff like that, just making sure that it's not just bare, and the floor should be clean, the room should smell a certain type of way, you should be dressed a certain type of way. Whenever you have a parent come up to you, make sure that you sound like your kid is just going to have the greatest time ever in your classroom. So that's the type of experience for open house I want my parents to have. Whenever they come to me, I'm like, hey, how you doing? Just very open, vibrant and stuff like that. You know, because I want my kids to have an experience in my classroom. So I need to have that sort of energy going into my parent meetings and stuff like that. So that's what I plan to do. I plan to really not necessarily put on a show, but making sure that you're open, you're warm, and you're welcoming. Your classroom smells nice, look nice, everything kind of has its place. You don't have all kind of junk and a pile over here and, you know, trash that you didn't get picked up from the janitor. You need to make sure that your classroom look like there's a lot of learning that's going to happen. When I'm at home, to be honest with you, my husband always say, when I clean up, when people come over and I clean up really, really good, he's like, it doesn't look like somebody live here. He like, you put things too perfect, almost like staging. And I'm like, well, I would much rather, as they're visiting, we become more relaxed as opposed to walking into an environment that they have to step over things. Do you get what I mean? So that's what I try to create in my classroom as well. Another thing, over planning won't hurt. There's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of paperwork that we have to have as teachers from parents, and on open house day to get them to sit down and kind of go through the paperwork with them. It won't hurt. And having those readily available, as well as having extra copies available, it wouldn't hurt. The biggest thing is to allow them to go home with that information, and then you have to hustle and get it back if there's a parent that's patient enough to sit through the process, because we give them a little packet. If there's parents that's patient enough to sit through that process that day and answer any of your questions about the material, then welcome them to do so. And you know, I suggest in our grade level, our district and a few little donors donated a lot of our school supply. So typically in other classrooms, when they're dropping off supply and putting them in these different types of piles and stuff like that in your classroom. We won't have that this year. They might bring a few things, but they're not required to. On their school supply list, everything say donated. So if they come with anything, they just trying to see your classroom. So that's what I keep it in mind, like having things readily available for them to sign. Make sure that you have a sign-in sheet with a phone number, and then right after they leave, later on that day, make some phone calls thanking them for taking the time out to come and visit the classroom. Let them know that you're excited about the school year. You didn't have too much time to talk to them in depth, but give them a reminder of the way that they can contact you. This year I'm using Blooms instead of Remind, even though Remind, I like Remind, but Blooms, I will be able to put my kids in and create like behavior and other incentives inside of Bloom. So I'm going to try that, and if that don't work, then I'm gonna move to Class Tag. So I'm just trying to figure out what works best for me. Like I say, Remind has worked in the past, but I think I want to try these other parent contact systems. So just remind them how they can log in on Bloom, or get their permission if they want to do it by email, or they want to do it by phone number. And you know, even if you're sitting there with your Blooms open and you just type in their phone number when they give that approval, if you didn't get it at open house, just welcoming them, letting them know that you're excited about everything that's going on this year, and letting them know a few things that you do have planned for the kids this year, and to get them kind of pumped up. So make sure at open house, whenever they put their name on there and they put that phone number on the side, you take that home later on that day and call them, and it will ease some tension for the first day for the kids, and because the parents can kind of be an advocate for you, that you kind of cool, you reached out, so you're not hard to reach, and you're excited. So that's what I do recommend, to get rid of that jitter for the first day for the students and for you, because the students will come in with a thought that you're pretty cool. So that's one thing. Another thing is, all right, another thing I recommend, and it has been successful with me for open house and first day, to kind of set the tone for a mood in your room. Our goal, and our first goal, is to make sure you find out how they're getting home the first day of the first week of school. Don't get me wrong. Every teacher knows that. You need to know how they're leaving the first day. And I know that's kind of rude, because they're already, so we already know how they're getting to school, but finding out how they're getting home. Some students still don't have everything ready for the bus, so they may become bus riders, but for the week they'll just be a car rider, or they're going to be carpooling, however that's going to go. You need to find out how they're getting home. But inside of your classroom during open house in the first day, to have the right, set the mood, have the right lighting, have the right smells going on for a calm environment, soothing music playing as they walk in, inviting persona. Oh, they love that. My parents love it. It was like, oh, I just want to be in here. You have to set it up. And the way that I'm going to do it, because my classroom, I have a lot of colors, and with the lights, it's pretty bright. So I'm not going to turn on all of my bright lights. I'm going to have kind of like my mood going on with some soft music playing. I'm going to have some popcorn saying thanks for popping in at open house. You know, just some little popcorn bags, just to kind of make sure that they feel at home and feel at ease talking to the teacher and being in my environment. So I do think that setting a good mood will be very effective and helpful for certain people. Some people just like, oh, I don't want them to stay long, so I don't want them to be too invited. I just want them to say hey and go by, and you know, maybe go to the other teacher for the other student. It just depends on the person. Excuse me. It just depends on the person. Me, whenever I get to make my first impression, I like to have my stuff together, have you have an experience or whatever. Some people take to it and some people don't, so who knows. All right, so the last thing that I would suggest to any teacher when you first meet your kid, I really do not care if it's open house, first day of school. Whenever you see that kid for the first time, no matter if you taught them before or whatever is the case, or you had a bad experience, saw them last year and they was hacking the food, You compliment them on something the first time you see them. Yesterday I had a kid, and he's gonna be in my classroom, but he came in with his mom to sign some paperwork, and when I saw him, I'm like, oh, you got so tall over the summer. Look at that haircut. I love your haircut. I love what you're doing with the haircut. And he has some earrings in his ear. I didn't even acknowledge his earrings because I'm sure we have plenty of time to deal with what's wrong. But his haircut was cute. He grew a little, not even an inch, like a touch. And that's the main thing I focused on. I didn't focus on anything about what you did over the summer, who you dated, none of that foolishness that they love to talk about. Just complimenting them on something, giving them a big hug, saying, oh, I'm excited that you're in my classroom. Also, I have a young lady that was in my class last year, and she's following me to 5th grade because I went from 4th to 5th, and I saw him like, hey, you know, just making her feel like a celebrity. She's like, how you doing? And I told her how pretty she looks, how her hair has gotten some color over the summer, and she looking taller and ready to work. I just was souping them up. And that's what I'm doing on open house. Like, the kids' first impression matters too, more than the parents, because guess what? They got to be with you for the next 10 months every day in your face. So, with that, boy, it's pretty loud, huh? With that being said, just make sure that you are getting all of the thought process out and making sure you have things ready so that you can relieve yourself of those jitters. But we do get them. I get them. Whenever, to be honest with you, whenever I'm meeting people or in front of people, I get this nervous, fast-talking energy. And I'm talking really, really fast because I'm just trying to get that whole part over with. And sometimes I think that my speech is a little slurred because I have an accent. So my accent and the words that are coming out of my mouth sometimes don't match with what I'm thinking. Sometimes I'm thinking I'm sounding so educated, but then when I listen back to even my videos, it's super cringy. I'm like, what are you saying, girl? Like, get it together. So my jitters come out in my accent and what I'm saying, and that's why it's more important, in my opinion, to set your culture and your environment and be open, because guess what? None of us are perfect. So if you're trying to come off as perfect, then you're going to have the worst experience. But if you're trying to just be regular, but I'm here to teach, we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a great school year, and just be invited and welcoming. You're going to get over your jitters. So if anybody else have any other type of suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. I am trying to get to my first 40 likes, so if you guys can please like my channel. I really love the Teacher Juice Box. It's becoming my little baby, and I know I'm just starting out. It's August, so I started out in June, so I am just getting started with this whole thing, but your support will be greatly appreciated, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.